All right, hello. So today you guys are going to take notes about elements that make up our solid earth as well as elements that make up our atmosphere, okay? Before we get started, I need you to get a periodic table. Make sure you have something to write with, and you need the following colored pencils: blue, red, purple, orange, brown, black, green, and yellow, okay? So go ahead and pause the video. If you don't have your materials, please make sure you grab those. That way we can get our notes done. So first, we're going to talk about the elements that make up solid earth. So if you look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 elements that make up solid earth. The elements come from the core all the way up to the crust, okay? So we've talked about this a little bit, but I want us to have notes over it. So the first element that makes up solid earth, and we have the most of, is iron, okay? Iron is found in our inner and outer core. Those both are completely made of iron. Our whole earth, 32% of our whole earth is made of iron. So about a third, all right? Next, we're gonna have oxygen, okay? Oxygen's found in the crust, and it makes up about 30%. All right. Next, we have silicone. And if at any time I'm going too fast, please pause the video. That way you can catch up on your notes, okay? Silicone makes up 15%. If you notice I'm not filling in the chemical symbol, I want you to go back and fill that in when we're done, all right? We have magnesium. Magnesium is about 14%. Okay, so if you see as we're going down, we're getting smaller in percentage. All right, and we have 4 elements so far. These next 4 elements we're going to add are called trace elements. So we don't have a large amount. That's why they're called trace elements. The first one is sulfur. Okay, sulfur is only 3% of our earth. Next we have nickel. Nickel is 2%. Calcium. And lastly, aluminum. Calcium is 2%, aluminum is 1%. So right now would be a good time to pause the video. That way you can make sure you have your chart filled out correctly. After we're done with video notes all together, I want you to go back in and fill in your chemical symbols. I can almost guarantee you that on Q3, we're going to have to look at a pie chart and be able to read it, okay? So we're going to make our own right now. I'm going to make iron black, okay? So what I'm going to do is put a dot over here by iron. And the easiest way to do your pie chart is to put one dot in the middle, and then I'll help you with how big each section needs to be. So as long as it's close to mine, you'll be fine. So iron is about a third of our earth. So we're going to make a third of our pie chart black. I'm going to add a little more. All this needs to be shaded in black, okay? So a third is iron. We made that. We're going to shade it in. I'm going to add a little bit more, actually. I'm sorry. So we have our third. On mine, I'm going to go in. I'm going to write iron. And I'm going to write 32%. Okay? Next, we have oxygen. It's another third. So I'm going to make a line straight down. I'm going to color this in blue for oxygen. Okay. So I'm going to put my blue dot over here. I'm going to write in oxygen. And I know I'm going fast, guys. Please don't hesitate to pause the video and catch up, okay? Silicone. I'm going to make silicone orange. It's 15%. I'm going to do a little, about half of this, okay? So please shade this in orange. About 15%. I'm going to write silicone. That's 15. 10%. You always want to make sure you're labeling your color to what it matches to, because if I just colored this in and I didn't tell you what each one meant, you would have a tough time reading it, okay? Next we have magnesium, which is 14%. So, like I said, our trace elements are small, so I'm going to make most of this green for magnesium. Okay, let's put a dot over here and write in magnesium. And it's 14%. All right, lastly, we're going to add in our trace elements. So as long as you're close to what I have, you'll be fine. Sulfur, I'm going to put in red. And it's so small, I'm just going to draw a small line, okay? We know that's sulfur. I'm not going to label it since it's such a small line. We'll do nickel with yellow. And I'm going to draw another line, okay? So we did sulfur, we did nickel. Let's do calcium in purple. Put a purple dot. Draw one more line for calcium. And then our last one is aluminum. We're going to put aluminum in brown. And I'm going to fill in one more line, okay? So we have iron, 32%. Oxygen is 30. Silicone is 15. Magnesium is 14, and then our 4 trace elements over here. So right now is a good time to go ahead and pause. We finished the first section, so if you need to pause and get caught up, please do so. All right, let's move to elements of the atmosphere. So if you look, we only have 2 elements that make up our atmosphere. The first one is nitrogen. Nitrogen makes up 78%, so quite a bit, almost 80% of our atmosphere is nitrogen. And our second one is oxygen. Oxygen makes up about 21%, okay? So in a moment after the video, please don't forget to go back in and fill these out using your periodic table. Up here, we did oxygen blue, so I'm gonna still use blue for oxygen. We didn't have nitrogen, so I'm just going to pick a color. Let's use red, okay? So I'm going to put my dot in the middle of my pie chart, okay? So about 80% of this needs to be red. So I'm going to make a line here, and I'm going to make a line about there, okay? So shade all this in red. All this should be red. Shade. Hopefully yours looks a little better than mine. And then we're going to go in and label. So nitrogen, and that is 78%. Okay. Now we're going to fill in oxygen with blue. We already put our blue dot over here. Okay, so let's shade this in blue. And let's label. Oxygen is 21%. So an easy way to remember your elements in your atmosphere is NO, N-O. We have nitrogen and oxygen. We have N and O, okay? Up here, we're just gonna have to use repetition and remember all these, okay? We have 8 up here, so it's quite a bit. I haven't come up with the acronym yet, so. Last thing you need to do is, on the back, I want you to write and answer these 2 questions. The first one says, what is the most abundant element in solid earth? So what element do we have the most of? Please answer in 1 complete sentence, okay? And I want you to write the question as well. The second one, what is the least abundant element in solid earth? So I want you to write the question and answer in 1 sentence. After you have finished your video notes, please come see me so I can check off on them. All right, guys, thank you.